Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone. So I get to ride on with you in the afternoon. You couldn't get away from me if you tried. You can find us on television. We're on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on the Newscasters.com. And also, we're on the radio now, WZLA. They are 92.9 FM, and you can find all the biggest country right here, country station right here in South Carolina, and so much appreciate being with them. Now they let me have some time, and that's every Saturday at 9 a.m. So again, thank you so much for all the different outlets, social media. We're all over the place there as well. Continue sending email. You know, that makes my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. I got my friend Victoria Lee Scott with me right now. And Victoria, you guys are just going nuts over there at the Newscasters studio.
Well, we have to thank our country, number one, because we've got our voices back. I mean, let's look at the last administration. Everybody was so afraid of being labeled, of being censored. You remember censorship for just saying anything? We were censored. We were taken down. So since this president, our wonderful President Donald J. Trump, took office in January, people are realizing that they do have a voice, and their voice is worth being told whatever they have to say. And that's what the Newscasters is. When we first started building this, we are a social media podcasting news network, which means, I was ahead of the game as everybody was out there as individuals doing Rumble or YouTubes, and everybody's got their own little platform. But what they're finding now today is they don't have a network. They're not united. And that's what I was so very, very blessed to be in a position over 10 years ago. I've been doing this. I just got on LinkedIn. Congratulations. 20 years of being in the industry I'm in. That's incredible. But to be able to have had the vision to put something together. So today, are a lot of people going to come behind me and duplicate? Yeah, because the barrier has been set. But the point is our feet are in there. You and we got on this bandwagon a long time ago because we knew that we were part of a different voice. Just like we're seeing today, we spoke earlier on different voices. We were just part of a different voice that really stood for what we really believed, because we were speaking the truth. We weren't speaking on anybody else's platform on behalf of anybody else. We were speaking our strength, our hopes, and our experiences to help others identify with what is going on in the world around us. So in that, I was drawn over 10 years ago with this idea of a network, of podcasting. And remember, when we started, there wasn't even the word podcast. We were internet radio hosts, right?
We were out there in the wilderness.
A voice in the wilderness. And I remember going, we are who mainstream media fears 10 years ago. Could you imagine how many people called me arrogant and said how arrogant I was to make a statement like that? I didn't know in my heart of hearts that mainstream media was going to crumble as it did. But something in me knew that the tides were going to turn. Something prepared me to bring the media as it was changing. We were growing with it. Even with my last company, after 15 years, I said something's wrong here. I did a proposal, and actually who I was working with just wanted nothing to do with what I was proposing. I thanked everyone, hung up. And as you know, from there, I was approached, such as what we were talking again, with, can you do this? And I'm like, I sure can. And here we are. And the whole idea is that everybody has had their own platform. And what I'm finding now is they all want to be part of a network. They all want to be part of something. Yeah, your voice is good out there when you can sit there and go Instagram, Facebook, and put yourself out there. But what we've created here, we're in the next step where we are a social media podcasting news network, which means once anything you do in a studio goes onto the homepage in the spotlight, it automatically goes out to every social media and every studio such as yours. If somebody goes in and listens to your studio, they can take your studio and email it to anyone. They can repost your show or your whole studio. So what it is, and it's going to evolve as technology evolves. But I do know that there was something that I was guided to in creating, bringing people, what I call reuniting voices. We've all been out there and scattered, and we need our voices to be reunited, not under this one or that one, because we've all been fooled. But if we listen to what we believe in and we listen to our truth, and then husbands share with wives and wives share with husbands and children and cousins, and if we just start sharing our truths, we can then again start opening up the lines of communication. Because for how long I said, if we lose the art of debate, we're left with violence. Mm-hmm. Even in Bible study this morning, one of the women had family or friends over, and the conversation, as it does, comes up. And the pushback to what she was standing for was that, you have to stand in your own truth. You can't say, well, I heard it from this guy, so that's what I'm re-spewing here. No, if you heard it from this guy, understand what it was said, how it affected you. Now share how it affected you. Don't share how it affected him. Don't share how everybody else and thousands of people liked it. Share, the point is, what it did and how it affected you. And that's what you and I are meant to do. I mean, you and I have people come on. It's like when people say, I tell them that I'm going on your show, like, well, isn't she your competition? I'm like, no, you don't get this. No, not in this world. Not what we have here. No.
This is a family where we're united.
And that's it. And Murray said he's coming on your show, right? Mm-hmm. You got Murray coming on. I'm on Clint's show. So the whole idea is to, like I was saying, is to reunite our voices, Donna. And you have been a strong pillar in this industry as far as, doing what you do. And I'm so proud of the Saturday morning radio show. Because that's what it's about. When it's not about achieving and having to accomplish that. It's about somebody recognizing what you're bringing to the table and saying, I have room for you. That's what I want to hear. I don't want people, I want somebody to say, I have room for you here. I have room for you in my life. That's what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. And that's what we have to get back to.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I don't know. It's just, and this has been going on for years. Okay, it's not just happened, but it feels like we're almost in a world of and President Trump brought this out with fake news. It feels like almost everything, except for my home life, it feels like almost everything is a facade. It feels like everything is fake. It feels like it's not real. I'm not talking about us. I'm not talking about our industry. I'm talking about the world
overall. Yeah, like well, I think what it is that we've ignored so much for so long that now it's coming to a point where we can see when something is not being done. Do you see what I'm saying? And we're seeing the fake for that reason, because by you and I seeing that, it gives us more of our own truth. So in its own way, though it seems fake, it might be in the exposing of the fakeness, the truth. People will feel safer with the truth. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're trying to give somebody a truth and they're not really correlating what's wrong with their truth, well, if you expose it as the fake, then all of a sudden you've accomplished what you set out to do. And that's what I think what happened. The one side of let's go back to raising children. One side of America's history was shut off from the last two generations. Okay. Now we also have generations of adults who were also only given one side of the story of America and what's happening in America. Our news was censored, our everything. You couldn't listen to this. Words. They would on our words, our choice of words, they, them, those. No, what this is. So what I'm saying is all of that needed to come so much to light so you and I can see the fakeness, right? Because I think in life, when things need to turn a direction, well, you can go along and you can halt. You can go along and you can yield. You can go along and you can slow down and smell the flowers. But until things reach a point where they come to a complete and utter stop, we are never going to be able to turn around and begin again. And that's the point we're coming to. Doesn't mean the world has to stop, but what has to stop is the nonsense. What has to stop is the wrong direction that we are guiding our people. This is America, freedom. We have every right for every voice to be heard. If you don't want to hear it, gosh, there's 900,000 other channels. Turn it.
Okay, that's my point, because and a couple of generations have been raised this way. This is what makes it so difficult, because it's in their heads that this is the way it needs to be. So the way it is if you don't like something, you destroy it. But we're tolerant. But that's the way it is. And also, when I was going to school, I remember things just didn't seem right. You would hear things happening, in the political world or whatever, and it was like, well, you didn't see that happen. And it was like, well, I know darn well I did. I saw that happen. And so we've been taught to look the other way. That's not what you saw. And so we've been taught that, and especially with politicians, for decades. And so now
I was in second grade, I think, when John F. Kennedy was shot live on black and white TV in our classroom. Are you serious? How do you explain that to a second grader? My whole life, I never believed that one shot one person up in thing there. I still don't. I don't.
And I'm gonna tell you, the neat thing about children is children are so innocent, because they haven't been indoctrinated with all the nonsense that as you get older you start hearing. And I remember the same thing. I remember, and I was like 5, I think, when that happened. I wasn't in school yet, but I remember it, and it was just like everybody's TV was on. Everybody was talking about it and all this, But people were calling, talking on the phone, talking about it. We didn't have social media back in those days, thank God. Probably a good thing. But something was right. Something just felt wrong, and there are a number of things that are feeling it's just not right. And I'm talking about Charlie Kirk right now.
Oh, same thing. I have the same. I'm sorry, but I do. I'll be real honest with you. And I knew Charlie since 2012, and I did Summer in the Psalms this past live with Erica in Bible study. But I'm going to be real honest with. I don't know. My spirit. I am doing and I am who I am because I have trusted the spirit that has been entrusted to me. And I'm sorry, but something still just doesn't sit right. I've watched everybody's view and everybody's angle and everybody's, thought process, but none of it just doesn't make sense yet to me. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't.
It's almost like they're Shakespeare. Everything's a stage. Everything.
Yes, the world. Yes.
I feel like we're living the world's a stage. I feel like it's just everything is fake when it comes to. And I'm gonna tell you, this is something else. And my grandmother was pretty much well ahead of her time. And I remember when the man landed on the moon, and she said, "That man didn't land on the moon. That's Hollywood said." And we were all, I was a kid then. I was a teenager. And I remember the whole family was laughing at her. "Oh, mother, quit acting like that." Of course he did. There you see it right there. And
then you see the other one when the young girl in school said, "What was the scariest thing about going on the moon?" He said, "Well, it wasn't scary if we would have done it, but we didn't do it." That came from that astronaut. I watched him in many interviews admitting in his end times telling the truth. And then you got Stanley Kubrick, who runs Hollywood, and he's all over that damn set. And then you got the other one, the special effects guy, who's all over Charlie Kirk. No, I'm sorry, but here's my issue with all of this. That's a crime scene. Why wasn't it? Are you kidding me? The guy taking down the camera. I watched. No, something's wrong here. I don't know. I don't have any answers. But there is just too much for me. He was shot in the neck. You know how much blood that is? And not one drop of blood on the cement from where he was taken to where he got to that car. You should see a trail of dripping blood.
There should be trails because it would be. I'm a free bleeder. I mean, I can get a little cut now, but what I'm talking about is if you're shot, I would.
Through the jugular?
I would think. And another thing is the Epstein thing. Okay, so I have a friend who used to work in the prison system. And when that happened, we were all kind of like, ooh. And she said, that's fake. She said, he probably did. Somebody killed him. He did not commit suicide.
Oh, I don't believe he committed suicide. Not for 1 second. All those cameras down.
No, that's another thing she said. So she gave me some insight. And she said, well, this is how it, she said, because you could get fired if one of you goes to sleep for 1 minute. They're on 24-hour suicide watch. You don't go to sleep until you're off the watch. You've got to stay awake. And she said, and another thing is they don't put even their clothes are made out of paper. She said there was nothing inside that cell that would have been strong enough for him to hang himself. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. On suicide watch? Come on. You and I both.
Well, she said if you got toilet paper and you wet the toilet paper and you wound it up, it would still take days to make it strong enough to even halfway hold you up there, and it's still going to fall. And she said, no, that guy did not kill himself.
I didn't believe it for one. I have never believed that. He is too close to the Clintons, too close. Excuse me, but take a body count on how many people around Mr. and Mrs. Clinton have lost their lives, whether slipping off a cliff, whether drowning in a pool, or whether being bit by a dog that led to rabies that caused their death. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's ridiculous. And this country really...
How about the Obamas with the judge? There was a pillow that had been smothered, but they said, it comes out, it looks like something had been put over his, but they're acting like he died or something.
And I think his chef.
His hands were like this. His hands were
like this. And how about the chef in the kiddie pool? Right? And the chef is a swimmer. Hey, you got a swimmer that drowns in a kiddie pool. What? He did what? No. Well, that's it. That's the good thing too. In some ways, we really needed you and I have been out here raising this flag for so long that even things that were so important, we wound up, because they were ignored and laughed at, but we wound up chuckling at it, which should have never, but because the resistance that we hit, that was our frustration. Like, they don't even, they're not even seeing this. So I think at the point of having things being exposed like they are, it is allowing for people, at least for those who have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, because there are those that were never going to get their attention. I don't care what you do. You're just never going to, you just got to admit, that hopefully someday say a prayer and let it go. But for those that do, it's an important time because it's allowing them the freedom of critical thinking their own thoughts at this time. And that's what is needed. Everybody has been, I had one client that every time she came to me every 4 weeks for her hair color for years, she would ask me about a diet if I've been on it. And I'm like, I don't diet. But she went through the cabbage diet because I have no idea. But my point is that I would just tell her these small little things that she could do. I'm like, I'm a bodybuilder. You see all these trophies and pictures in my sports salon? Do you see me? I'm telling you, you're doing all this crazy stuff unnecessarily. First thing, make a fist. Eat no portion larger than your fist. Start there.
Good one.
Start there. Every piece of your potato, your meat, your vegetable, start with not below the bone on the arm, from the right around before the bone. That's your portion control for your body. Simple, start there. Well, I can't just eat that. Well, then you know what? You have a problem.
So go on everything else. They'll put it off on everything else. They'll say it's my hormone.
And what I've heard, and let me tell you, here's the most interesting thing. I've been a competitive bodybuilder. I've got medals, trophies from 19 95, and my last competition was 2018. Okay. Over the years, in that span, in my chair in a hair salon, we talk in the pictures, and everybody, how can I do? What can I do? Can you help me? Will you train me? Victoria, the one thing you'll never see after my name is trainer. But the simple fact is, whenever anybody has ever said that to me, I've said to them, here's what I want you to do. I need you to take 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I want you to write down the time and everything you ate in those 3 days. I don't care if you chewed a piece of gum or what. I want the time and what you ate for 3 days. Do you know only one person in all these years came back to me? And she must have scribbled it in the car before she came in. But the thing is everybody wants to do it, Donna. But the point is you need discipline. The reason we're on the radio and the reason why the guy offered you your spot on the radio is because you and I are disciplined and we are obedient to what we choose to put out there.
We're serious about what we put out there. I'm serious.
And people aren't, they're not even serious about anything. That's my point. What you were saying, that's why what you're seeing is fake. The more fake we see, the better off we're going to be. The more fake, because you can just take that fake and go and not give it a second thought. Whereas if they're hiding behind the fake, now you got to figure their crap out. I don't want to figure their crap out. Wear it so I can see it, so I can get rid of it faster.
Well, let me ask you a question. So this is something that should be a gimme. Okay, now back in the 80s, the 70s, 80s, when Biden ran for president the first time, okay, he was caught in a pack of lies. I mean, and there was none of this misremembering. This is back when the news media would even let the Democrats back then. So Dan Rather, these people were talking about he's done because he claimed to have 2 degrees in.
He didn't have any. He plagiarized.
And yeah, but this is another thing. He said he graduated at the top of his class. Well, they did a little research, and they found out, no, he had 1 degree and he was at the bottom of the class. Well, this is what the news media said then. They said, Joe Biden, he's a joke. He's won and he's done. Then years later, he winds up being president of the United States. And people were putting that out there that he did this in the 70s and lied, plagiarized. He did all this kind of stuff. But this is why I'm asking you. This is why I want to know what your thoughts are about this. Are we on a stage? Is this just a bunch of actors out here? Because who in their right mind would do any kind of research and vote for that man?
Well, also, too, on the simple fact is that his lovely first wife was his child's nanny. Joe Biden was Joe Biden's nanny for his children, who went on to be the first lady. Is it a stage? Da-na-na-na-na-na, hope you like our show.
I know what you mean. What else can you say?
Serious. But look at all the connections. Look at all it's got to make us wonder. And I mean, even watching. How dare we, the American people, watch our senators and congressmen become millionaires in front of our face as we did nothing to stop any of them? Okay, nothing. Keep electing them.
Okay, let's say you own a business. Okay, your beauty shop. Okay, so let's just say this person was dirt poor when they came in and you hired them. All of a sudden they're rich beyond compare. Wouldn't you kind of question that? Because we had that happen, and it was my sister-in-law, her husband's brother's wife did this. She was like meek and humble, when we first hired her. Well, then she changes, and I'm thinking, well, I'm glad to see she's got a positive attitude now. But here's what we noticed. We started noticing diamonds on every finger. They weren't fake, they were diamonds on every finger, and all these necklaces, all these bracelets, new clothes, having her hair done, all this kind of stuff that she couldn't afford previously. Her husband was the sheriff's department. They don't make any money. So anyway, all this stuff was, so our ears pricked. So Phil said, because we handled a lot of cash coming in those businesses. We had 8 locations, a lot of cash.
Sure.
So Phil said, there's money missing. And I said, well, you can check any store but Michelle's. Michelle's, it wouldn't be hers. And he checked every store and he said, I'm checking Michelle's store. And he checked it. Michelle's store was the one. So then her husband works for the sheriff's office. And I said, I can't help who she is. And it was thousands of dollars that she took. And I said, we're going to have a meeting with her. So we had a meeting with her, and I said, unless you pay that money back by tomorrow noon, you're going to prison. And I said, I'm not even mad at the amount of money. I said, I'm mad because you took us for morons. You thought we were stupid. You thought we were so trusting with you that we'd never find this out. Well, her husband worked for the sheriff's department. And she had been telling him, by the way, that the reason she was coming home late is we were making her work all these overtime hours.
Oh.
So he finds out the truth. She was dumb enough to write the affairs down in a diary, and he found it. Then he came with her and he apologized to us. He said, I thought y'all were mistreating her. He said, she was telling me, he said, she was coming in real late at night telling me that y'all were making her work late. And I said, well, number one, what could you do late hours at a cell phone company? I mean, right. So she was having a prayer inside the store and stealing money from us.
On top of it.
And do eventually come home to the roost. We did get our money back. There was probably more that she stole that we just didn't have an accounting of. But anyway, the point is I've learned when something doesn't feel right, you better act on it. Had we acted on that, it would have been less money she was stealing from us.
Right. And that's the hard part. But now I think because with people, I think we're all a little wiser at this stage, which is what I can hope for, because the amount of fake and scam. But, scripture tells us in these times, false everything. Be on your guard. We are told, we are warned during this time. We might not be in the end times, but we're definitely in the times of the end.
We are.
Okay.
We are.
So my point is I kind of take, because I'm a biblical Christian and that's what I go on. But we're told that in these times right now, that the false and the fake, and I want it to be so in our faces that we can see clearly enough, not you and I, but those who have been making concessions and didn't want to make a decision or didn't want to get a confrontation. I'm hoping that this stage and what you're talking about will allow people to say, you know what, I've had enough and that's not good enough. Oh, no, I'm putting my foot down. That's what I am hoping in seeing these scams. And there's no easy anything. I mean, everybody thinks right now, stock market, just do this, put $1 here, 50 cents, and you're all going to, if you would have listened to me yesterday, you would have woken up a millionaire today. If I would have listened to you yesterday, I would have been $5 short today. That's the way I see it.
You brought this. So many people are being scammed right now. I mean, it's and a lot of it is online. So what they do is these scammers look for these lonely men and women. They look for them. And that's why I tell a lot of elderly or whenever your husband passes or whatever, your wife passes, don't put that you're a widower. Don't do that for guys. On Facebook. If you do that on any social media site, just leave it blank. You don't have to put anything on there because you are a target. So what they do is they look for them. They look for these lonely people. But number one scam should be this. It should be this. If they ask you for money for a plane ticket,
click.
You let
or a gift card. Or a gift card.
And it gets in the religious world. I've thought about this a million times. Okay, for decades, there have been these so-called preachers that will say the end will be on June the 20th or whatever. And so everybody sell all your stuff, give me your money, and let's meet up on this mountain on June the 20th. My hand would be raising going, if Jesus is coming back, why do we have to waste our time selling our stuff and giving it to you? Shouldn't
That's
they?
right. First of all, I'm going to be lifted up in the air and my stuff ain't going with me. I'm going to meet him up there and I ain't taking anything with me, all right?
Yeah, but I'd want to know why you, as a preacher, wanted me to sell my stuff and give it to you. I'd say,
Why not? No, they're not. I mean, look at all those people. Donna, look at all those people not that many years ago with the star people. Remember the purple shoes, the sneakers, the blankets? How do you buy into that? How do you buy into that?
And Jim Jones, who caused all these, how many people? Oh my God.
He even moved them to another country. He airlifted them out to another country.
Oh my goodness.
And they all got on planes.
But then they want to say that we're the ones that, oh, you're in a cult. You're in the Donald Trump cult. You know, he wants to be a king. You know, we're going to have to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there. More good stuff from Victoria.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing, including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Victoria, hang around so I can get you set up for.
You got it.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. I want to thank you for watching us every day. I definitely appreciate that. It makes me feel so good to hear from you, too. Send an email to Donna@DonnasEdge.com, Donna@DonnasEdge.com. You are not bothering me one single bit, and I'm pretty sure that Victoria feels exactly the same way that I do. And just, I mean, that you would let us be part of your platform for gaining knowledge and knowing more what's around you. But and I know Victoria agrees with me because she says exactly the same thing. And that's, you've got a mind, you've got a thought process. You need to do research, even from what I tell you. I mean, I could be way off. I mean, you need to do your own research. And if it feels bad, if you have some kind of a weird feeling about something, that's something in your mind that's telling you that something's wrong. It could be a God thing saying, don't do it. You know, so many times, Victoria, I would feel sorry for somebody and I would give them money. And then those are ones, by the way, that being enemies for some reason. But I would give people money and then come to find out they were spending it on nonsense. So what I should have done is said, let's find a training center somewhere that will teach you about finances and what you need to. I mean, you don't have to be a millionaire, but I'm just going to tell you, you can live off of less money than you think you can. Just cut back on the nonsense. I know, because I was divorced once. I had to cut down. Big time cut down. I didn't have cable. I turned that off. And there's just different things that I did. And you can do the exact same thing. But be careful where your money goes. And right now, you need to be very, very careful who you listen to about the Charlie Kirk whole revolution thing that's happening. There's some good folks out there. And there's some bad eggs out there that are taking advantage of a lot of folks right now in their thought process.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, is to manipulate the mind. And that's, you know, and it's interesting because so many people are open right now, you know, and I have people, you know, as I in the hair salon, and people bring things up to me and I'm like, well, where did you hear that? You know, and like, it does, like, repeat that one more time. Yeah. Listen to what you're saying, and then look at me with a straight face and try to explain what it is that you're interpreting here. And that's what I think is one of the biggest problems, is that people are hearing it, they're filtering it, and they're filtering it out through their own term, and we're losing. You know, it's like the game of telephone, remember? By the time it got to the kid on the end, it made no sense of what was being said from the first kid.
The car is red. The time it wasn't even a car, and it was.
Yeah, and whatever it was green. We don't know. So it's just, but that's how people are actually getting their information. They're not really getting one point what they're doing, and that let's go back to the whole point on social media. Everybody has taken their own platform, and everybody's contradicting or agreeing, and you've got this one agrees and that one contradicts, and you got all that going on. But that's what's happening with people, because people who are in search of the information are getting bits and pieces of other people's. Then they're putting it together, which then creates a whole new context that made no sense from the context in which it originally came from. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're finding. So I am hoping that the more of the fakeness that we were talking about does expose itself. So people can see, truthfully, that's really a stupid thought. Because I would love for somebody to say that is a stupid concept, or that is a stupid, because that means that you're listening now. Uh-huh. But as long as you're all bobbing and weaving your head going, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like she said, yeah. Then nothing's going to
be right. I mean, you can't, you gotta, and the best thing to do is, if you want to listen to everybody, but don't take everything so much to face value. Because I'm just telling you, I know this from being in school. The gossip girls, the ones that did all the gossip, those are the ones you wanted to stay away from, because they would wind up manipulating you against other people. And that's what some people do. That's what's happening right now in this country. People are listening to a bunch of nonsense. Things that make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
And that's one of the most important things, which is another plus to the Newscasters studio, Donna. If you go through the whole company and check out everybody's pages and you look at the homepage, the one thing I didn't do, which everybody for all these years in building this who have been yelling at me, telling me I was wrong, I kept this whole company virgin real estate. I wouldn't sell out to Google ads and Critter ads and all that other garbage. I wanted to have quality podcasters that had something to say, and that would lead us to quality sponsors that wanted to support what we were saying. And that's what I believed in. And I have fought with this company just do Google ads, Critter ads. And I'm like, no, I don't want all that flashy garbage everywhere. It takes away from what we're trying to say, and there's a way to do it. And the way that the only way that the internet knew how to do it, as everything else, I have always fought the system. If there's one word you can attach to me, it's rebel. From the time I was in middle school. Oh, that little rebel. Oh, that little rowdy, that rebel, her. So, it's not that I do it for bad. I do it because you have to, I stand by my own convictions. And just because everybody said, you make money. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of ways I can make money, people, but you're not listening to the way I want to make it. And just because it's different from the way it's being done doesn't mean that what I am doing is wrong, as we can now find out. Mm-hmm. But I have been facing not only just being a woman, but just even the point of making myself clear without being labeled a BTICH. No. The difference is I am direct. Mm-hmm. I am just direct. I'm sorry if you can't handle my directness, but I'll give you maybe an ice cream cone or a lollipop to suck on while I'm talking to you. I don't know what to tell you, but the truth doesn't lie.
Stay the way you are. Okay, because people are looking for that now. Why do you think President Donald J. Trump was so popular? Because he said things we were already thinking. We were already thinking, what's wrong with Hillary Clinton? What's wrong with Nancy Pelosi? We were already thinking these things. And then, what's her name? I can never think of her real name because President Trump calls her Pocahontas. Faking, saying she was
Elizabeth Warren.
That's a lie.
And she
should be made to pay that back with interest.
Not only that, wait a minute. How about the amount of money that these scammers have taken from Big Pharma to hang us out to dry? Do you know the millions that woman has earned from Big Pharma? Absolutely. You bet they all should be out. But the thing is, you know what? I know something, Donna. As long as the tides are turning now in our favor, because the truth can be heard, it can be. It wants to be the next generation. It might not be 2 generations after me, but I just got off my last radio show with a 23-year-old Miss Georgia, 23 years old, education for everyone. And I mean, that generation there, Donna, that generation is different than the 2 in front of it. The 2 in front of it that were raised by military simulations as video games. The ones that were told no prom, no this, no that. The ones that were literally told that they can do anything, even just show up for a trophy. And then by the time they got to high school, it was like, bam, get in your room. Bam, get in your bed. So we have those 2 generations are not very happy people. But we do have one coming up after them, and I know it turned because, as you know, I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk. And in August, when Charlie was speaking here on the campus of Cal State Long Beach, which I'm in Long Beach, California, an extremely sanctuary city, I thought as a news person, I was going to go there and see the pushback to Charlie. I was literally blown away on a campus here in Sanctuary City, Long Beach, how much mega hats and how positive this generation of college students wanted to hear Charlie. They prove him wrong was what he stood for. These students wanted to hear people go up there and say things, for him to answer them, to give them the answers that they so desired from academia, but were not getting for all this time. They were able to realize that they weren't getting the full truth. And I was blown away at this generation on that college campus for the knowledge and the power that he was there to give to them. Incredible.
It's incredible. I mean, but that turned people off because these people who are in charge, the players who are out there on the stage where all the world's a stage, those players don't want that to happen.
Well, the guy's been shot, assassinated. Of course they didn't want him. Somebody didn't want him. They assassinated him. Whoever assassinated him. Bottom line, he was assassinated because of who and what he stood for.
I just can't believe it's just one guy that was confused about his gender or whatever is the one who did it. I'm just not believing that.
I can't either that one guy got all the way, all of it. I'm sorry. I just don't. And you know, I don't know it in a lot of things. Look at Kennedy. Will we ever get the real truth on this or that? But the point is, don't stop asking the questions. Mm-hmm. That's what the Biden administration did to us. It started shutting down our voices. We came very close to winding up with a country that to this day, being 10 months into the year, we would not recognize this country right now if the results on January weren't what they were with Donald J. Trump. In 10 months with the Biden and Hillary, could you imagine what our country would look like right now, 10 months into a Harris administration? Tell me where we would be.
Venezuela. That's where we'd be. We would definitely be there. But let me tell you something. Again, if something just doesn't feel right, if it doesn't sound right, so many players the past few years, this has been happening. And we were told like, oh, you're just a rebel rouser. You're just one of those people who just likes to cause trouble. We're not the ones causing trouble. So when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the folks were not out rioting, burning down cities and towns and stuff like that.
Like they did with George Floyd.
There was none of that stuff going on. So how can they possibly say that we're part of a cult? We're part of a people who wants to destroy. We're not destroying anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because we're talking about a party that does not run on knowledge, that runs on emotions. Mm-hmm. They run on emotions. They don't run on facts and knowledge. They run on pure emotion.
Common horse
and
sense.
How do you...
Okay, so that's what we say in the South, common horse sense. Okay, my granddad used to say that. Both granddads who did not have even a high school education would tell me this over and over again. They would say, you can have all the college degrees you want, but if you don't have common horse sense, You're worth it.
100%.
I mean, they're right about that. They were absolutely right. And they held high jobs. I mean, one of my granddads actually worked for the USDA. To have that position he had now, you'd have to have multiple degrees for that. I mean, you have to not just walk in and get it without a high school diploma. And so, but it was common sense, and it was called common courtesy, taking care of your customers, taking care of
you know what's going to help? You know what's going to help a lot now with the next generation, Donna? They're bringing back the trades. They're starting to show our children that not every single kid needs to go to college to earn a degree, that there are other things to work with your hands, to be a plumber, to be a carpenter, to be a mason. And that's what they need to bring back. And I understand we have we have wonderful things, but we are a people of creativeness, and that's where we're at now. Everybody's saying, well, what are we going to do now? Everything's changing with AI. Everybody's going to be out of jobs. And you want to know something, Donna? It's going to be like the Industrial Revolution. They all thought when the Industrial Revolution came that everybody's going to be without jobs. Well, what people don't realize, when a revolution comes, a whole new set of jobs come along with that. And therefore, so I understand that a robot will be being that mason, but somebody's going to have to run that robot. So learn the job, climb, you know what I'm saying? Put yourself in your right position, and the right position will be there. Yeah, and the problem is everybody wants a free ride, and there is no free ride anymore.
But this is some good things that are happening right here. There's a website you can go to. It's called pathtopro.com. And this is from Home Depot, and they are actually offering you free classes, and you can do them online. And this is all about, and this is what it says: the Path to Pro Network is free trades career network where professional contractors are hiring skilled tradespeople. Whether you're looking for your first job or what's next, the Path to Pro Network has you covered. You can log in, then you can go ahead and take the trades. You can show off your skills. They show you jobs that are available all over the world. Free.
And that's what this is going to take.
The word free training.
But that's what this is going to take, Donna. You got to take a place like Home Depot, who has all that. This is perfect. We have got to learn to give back rightly. Look at the money. Excuse me. How many billions of dollars have we thrown at our homeless problem? Maybe what we should have done is we should have had job skill workshops all across this country.
Bingo.
Serious. So we did nothing with all that money and all those taxes and everything. Nothing was for the people. And that's what's changing. Home Depot doing that. It's very interesting because Mr. Day shared a story with me at the beginning of me questioning building the news company. And Mr. Day says to me, and his father was Cecil Day, who owned all the Days Inn hotels. Mr. Day said to me, he said, my dad had a friend. A friend owned this tiny little hardware store. And he kept going to his buddies and telling them he had this idea of what he wanted to do. And everybody shot him down and shot him down and shot him down. Well, you know who his friend was? The owner of Home Depot.
There you go.
Okay, just to bring you, and there was a reason I brought that circle back in, because what it was is everybody told the owner of Home Depot his idea was ridiculous. Well, it was ridiculous to them because he had the vision. And remember how many years I've been doing this, and my clients would go, are you still doing that radio thing? Yeah. Excuse me, I'm now president of that radio thing. But my point is that if we stay true to what the individual first, then it happens, and that's what we have to get back to. Everybody's looking to get on somebody else's ride. Find your ride, and you're going to find out that you're happier, you're healthier, and it's really a lot more fun. I am so glad that I have always chosen my own path. I have always sang for my supper, always, from bartending to hairdressing.
I'm good with that. There's a feel of accomplishment. But let me tell you about this guy. So we bought this house, and we're living in South Carolina, And the house has great bones. It's just been like cosmetic stuff that we've done, and then I wanted to put some shows together to show that women can do construction things too. So this is what happened. So we've needed some help. We needed an electrician to come out, and it was the construction of the house. It's a tri-level. It's a Brady Bunch house is what we call it, but it's got, it's just the construction of the house, and we needed more lighting. So this younger guy comes out, and another guy comes with him, two young guys. And so I just told the guy, I said, you know what? I am really proud of you. I said, this is awesome that you're doing this. And he said, I got to tell you. I asked him, I said, did you go to college? And he said, no, I didn't need to. He said, I took tech in high school, and then I went to a tech college, and so and it wasn't really a college. And he said, I learned the skill of being an electrician. And he said, but you know what's really kind of strange? He said he kind of got ratted on. His buddies were all going to college, partying, having a good time, and all this kind of stuff. And none of them do anything they got the degree from. And he said, so I'll say, sometimes we'll say, let's all get together and do something, and, just celebrate being friends, whatever. He said, they can hardly ever do it because they don't have any money. And I said, why don't they have money? He said, well, for one thing, they're not doing anything that the degree is in. And they're still trying to pay back all that party at college that they did back in the day. And he said, I have no expenses. He said, I've just about paid cash for my house. And he said, pay cash for my truck out there. And he said, I pay cash for everything because I don't have the college debt. And he said, he worked as an apprentice. And that's another thing, but young folks, if I were your age right now, I would go to high school, tech school. I'd take 2 trades just to see which one I like the best. I might even do both of them. But you can make so much money and put some back, have a decent life for yourself, not be in debt with credit cards like your parents and grandparents probably did.
Right.
Have a life. You're in slavery when you're making payments to a credit card company. And this guy, I'm just telling you, younger people doing it. They got it.
That's it. And that's what you want to teach them. It's so funny because I gave my father the beginning of my college days were terrible. And he just had it with me. And then I said, well, I'm going to hairdressing school. My father always said how I wasted his money. Okay? How I wasted his money. Till not that long ago that I said to him, and I said, I want you to realize something, Daddy. I have owned my hair salon. And actually, next month, it'll be 30 years. I said, so stop saying I wasted your money, because if I didn't have that beginning business, I don't know if I would have owned my salon for 30 years. So the problem is what you're mad at is that I just didn't do it your way. And I did it my own way. But it's true. I know what they wanted from me, but that's not what I was feeling my calling. It's like, and everybody said, well, you could have just done BOCES in high school. Yeah, I could have, but that wasn't my calling. And, it's like, give me a break here. So I too believe that I am a big proponent in listening to the self first, then putting it out there, weighing it out, getting some. But I truly believe that we know inside of us what we should or should not be doing better than anyone else.
Well, I think you would still be in communications and getting, even if you had went to college, my fear is that you would have taken a liberal arts degree. You would have been one of the, you would have been doing fake news instead of like real news. So I think it happened for you. I really am. It'd be hard to talk to you if you were a liberal. It would be very difficult.
Oh gosh, can you imagine? No, thank you. No. Somewhere along the line, but also, I grew up in a town with Alphonse D'Amato, who was Senator Al D'Amato from New York. I know him as Tippy. He was my parents' divorce lawyer. But as soon as you were 18 in my Republican little town, you went down and you saw your father brought you and you met Tippy and now you're a Republican, So from early on, I was like, okay, this is the way we're going. So I was led that way. We didn't really have too many Democrats where in the town I grew up in. It was pretty Republican.
Victoria, we've got to call it a day. And I know you've got another recording coming up too. But thank you.
I do.
It's always so much fun. And thank you guys so much for watching. You're the reason we do this. We're getting that information out there to you that you need. and that you want to hear as well. But to still do your own research, okay? Still do that. You got a mind, you can think. Continue sending emails to Donna@donnasedge.com. And make sure you get in contact with Victoria Lee Scott if you've got a voice and you want to be heard as well. Thank you again so much for watching.